Ilya Dragunov defeats Carmelo Hayes to become the brand new NXT champion at No Mercy. Trick Williams is the brand new North American champion, defeating the Judgment Day's Dominic Mysterio. Becky Lynch retains her NXT Women's Championship in the main event of the show. Sami Callihan is now officially a free agent after his contract with Impact Wrestling has expired, and there are those within All Elite Wrestling that are pushing for the company to sign him. Noam Dar retains his Heritage Cup trophy. The D'Angelo family are still the NXT Tag Team Champions. Baron Corbin defeats Bron Breakker. The NXT Women's Breakout Tournament participants have been revealed. We now know when we're going to be watching NXT Halloween Havoc. An update as to why WWE has been loading up these NXT shows as of late, trying to get the ratings up amid all of the discussions and contract talks about media rights negotiations and agreements for the developmental brand. A big match has been announced for Fastlane involving two big teams. Josh Barnett versus Claudio Castagnoli has been added to WrestleDream, plus another match has been added to the WrestleDream 0 Hour pre-show. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's start off talking about NXT No Mercy last night. Several big titles changing hands on the show, possibly no bigger than the NXT Championship itself. After a brutal match that left both men lying at points throughout, Ilya Dragunov captured the NXT Championship from Carmelo Hayes during the penultimate match of the NXT No Mercy Premium Live event. In an impressive showing, Dragunov, a former NXT UK champion, started off the match hot and kept Hayes in check throughout the bout. The two first faced off for the championship at the Great American Bash at the end of July in a brutal match, though Trick Williams did get involved. Williams' involvement in the win shattered Hayes' confidence in recent weeks, though the now former champion was set on winning at No Mercy to be a beacon of hope for the kids who looked up to be just like him. Their bout at No Mercy was even more brutal than their last match at the Premium Live event. At one point in the match, Dragunov hit a coast-to-coast on Hayes and was busted open on his forehead. Hayes continued to be resilient and kick out of everything that Dragunov threw at him, but at the end, Hayes couldn't hang on any longer and the challenger pinned him for the 3 count. After the match, Dragunov remained intense, but shook Hayes' hand in a show of respect. The victory marks the start of Dragunov's first NXT Championship reign. Hayes defeated Bron Breakker in April at NXT Stand and Deliver to win the championship. There were other titles that changed hands, which we'll get into shortly, but what did you think of the match? What do you think this means for the future of Carmelo Hayes? Is he going to the main roster? Is he going to be sticking around in NXT? Or could there be another storyline that he gets involved in? Let me know your thoughts about that. Now, the other storyline that he could get involved in involves his associate and best friend, Trick Williams, who is the brand new NXT North American champion. Of course, Trick Williams wasn't even supposed to be involved in this match a few weeks ago. It was meant to be Dominic Mysterio versus Mustafa Ali, but after earning his way into the match this past Tuesday on NXT, he's now the brand new North American champion. There is a new North American champion in NXT, and his name is Trick Williams. After winning a fatal 4-way this past Tuesday night, Williams would square off against Dominic Mysterio, with Dragon Lee installed as the special guest referee and attempting to call the bout down the middle, despite his lingering issues with the now former champion. The two competitors entered the ring to vastly different reactions from the crowd in Bakersfield, California, with the increasing popularity of Williams on full display and the audience's hatred for Mysterio only growing from week to week. Mysterio jump-started the match with a dropkick and got plenty of heat on his opponent, with chants of "We want Mammy" ringing out throughout the arena in reference to the absent Rhea Ripley, while the fans also got behind the challenger with some audible "Whoop That Trick" sing-along. Williams would hit a nice neck breaker to create some brief breathing room, but Mysterio would quickly regain control with a 619 before the official was taken out inadvertently by Mysterio. A new referee would make his way down to the ring, and Williams would earn a couple of near falls before a second ref bump would see Mysterio bring his championship into the equation. However, a raised knee strike from Williams would see the babyface overcome the odds and win his first title in WWE, with Dragon Lee returning to the fold to count the 3 and crown a new champion, ending Mysterio's reign. So where do you think this one is going? Do you think we're now leading into a Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes feud? What do you think this means for Dominic Mysterio in NXT? Is he going to be done with the brand, or is he still going to be lingering around for a little time to come? Let me know your thoughts about that. Becky Lynch is still the NXT Women's Champion, retaining her title in the main event last night at No Mercy. Becky Lynch has retained her NXT Women's title in a chaotic main event bout against Tiffany Stratton, overcoming one of the best young talents in the business to close out an entertaining night at the No Mercy Premium Live event. The champion came out to a huge pop in Bakersfield, California, before returning backstage briefly to bring out a shopping cart full of weapons, with Stratton leaving the ring to jumpstart the action on the outside. Both competitors moved to the crowd and fought all the way up the stairs, but it would be Stratton who took control once they returned to the squared circle, using a crowbar, hammer, and steel steps to momentarily down the man. In a match that featured all sorts, including Barbie dolls, hammers, crowbars, trash cans, and shopping carts, both performers had their moments to shine in front of a raucous NXT crowd. Down the home stretch, Stratton scored a near fall with a spine buster onto the trash can before powerbombing Lynch onto the steel steps for another 2 count. Lynch would crawl under the ring and spray a fire extinguisher at the rising star before using a barbed wire baseball bat, paying homage to Cactus Jack in the process. Both women spilled through the barricade and Stratton got to her feet first, landing a swanton bomb from the top rope through a table, kind of, and another inside the ring for a near fall, leading to the trademark "This is awesome" chants ringing throughout the venue. Lynch hit a manhandle slam on the floor but couldn't capitalize. However, after Stratton missed her moonsault and landed on the steel chairs, Lynch wasted no time in hitting her finish for the second time and scoring a 3-count victory. Lynch will now take on Tegan Nox on an upcoming episode of Monday Night Raw as her reign as the NXT Women's Champion continues. Nox was in the crowd last night to watch this one. Now, Becky Lynch didn't come away from the match completely unscathed, though. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, he is reporting that Fightful Select has learned that Becky Lynch sustained a laceration to her arm last night. The wound actually required 11 stitches to close up, but she looks to be okay. Of course, if we get any more information on that, we'll let you know moving forward. Now, let's switch gears here and talk about AEW/Impact Wrestling, because a former Impact World Champion could be on his way to AEW. Sami Callihan is officially a free agent as of midnight last night. Now, today is October 1st. Callihan is no longer under contract to Impact Wrestling and a free agent. After years with Impact Wrestling, Callihan is now gone from the company in which he became a world champion. Fightful Select are reporting that they have been told there doesn't appear to be any ill will from either side, but a deal was not reached and therefore Callihan left the company. Callihan, reportedly, according to Sean Ross Sapp, has people pushing for him within All Elite Wrestling, namely, who else? Jon Moxley, who has long maintained a great relationship with Callihan. Of course, they're former tag team partners in CZW, the Switchblade Conspiracy. Now, Fightful have heard Sami's name tossed around in producer roles for other companies as well, as he's met success running Pro Wrestling Revolver too. So there certainly is a possibility Callihan could wind up in AEW. Of course, he could go back to Impact Wrestling. Maybe he goes somewhere else. What are your thoughts on the potential destination for the former Impact World Champion? Let me know your thoughts about that. Now, going back to NXT No Mercy, Noam Dar is still the holder of the NXT Heritage Cup. In a back-and-forth affair that went all 6 rounds, contested, of course, under Heritage Cup rules, Noam Dar outlasted Butch with timely assists from his Metaphor cohorts and most notably interference from fellow countryman Gallus in round 6 to retain the trophy. Though Butch entered the match with Tyler Bate by his side to even the numbers a little bit, which he described on X as BSS for one night only, probably, Dar's regular allies weren't all he had to be worried about, with Butch maintaining the edge late after a bitter end and his trademark small digit manipulation. Mark Coffey and Wolfgang appeared at ringside to take out Bate in full view of Butch, turning his attention to Gallus. The Gallus invasion became Butch's fatal flaw, as after taking him out with a dive over the top rope upon his return to the ring, Butch was taken out by Joe Coffey, leading to Dar's decisive pin. The opening round was evenly contested throughout, with a slight edge perhaps to Butch, manipulating Dar's fingers to the final bow, at which point Dar blasted Butch with an elbow. This allowed Dar to take full advantage in the ensuing second round, though he needed a kick to Butch's head from Oro Mensah to earn the fall. In round 3, further distractions nearly gave Dar the decision, just like that, but Butch managed a bitter end with a little over of a minute left to tie things at 1 apiece. Rounds 4 and 5 featured near falls on both sides, but nothing definitive took place before round 6, which featured Bate and Mensah clashing on the outside. A Butch tribute to Bate by hitting his Tyler Driver 97, a near fall for Butch after another bitter end, and the decision swinging involvement of Gallus led to Dar's successful title defense. Now, perhaps it won't be British Strong Style for one night only after all. There is possible I guess, Butch remaining in NXT for a period of time. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that one. Now, despite all of the titles changing hands last night, we still have the same NXT Tag Team Champions because the D'Angelo family retained the NXT Tag Team Championships in a wild fatal four-way bout during the NXT No Mercy Premium Live event on Saturday. The Don, Tony D'Angelo, and Channing Stacks Lorenzo defeated the Creed Brothers, OTM, and Los Lotharios. The match was set up in a segment on Tuesday's episode of NXT where D'Angelo told all three teams they would be competing for the championships at No Mercy. Only 2 men from any of the 4 teams were legal at a time during the No Mercy bout. Despite the rules of the match, it quickly broke down from the start and continued to go off the rails throughout. At one point, D'Angelo's knee blew out and the referee called for medical officials. As the match brawled on between the teams, D'Angelo was able to make it back out from backstage, taking out an official on his way down the ramp to rejoin the match. With the Don back in the match and all 8 members in the ring, 4 superplexes were set up from all 4 turnbuckles, sending everyone crashing to the mat at the same time. D'Angelo got the pin on Lucian Price following Brutus Creed taking out many of the other stars on the outside with a Brutus bomb to end the match. The D'Angelo family retained the tag team gold they have been holding since winning the bouts from Gallus at the Great American Bash at the end of July. Now, Baron Corbin picked up a big victory over Bron Breakker, which some think could be Bron Breakker's final match in NXT. After catching a top rope plancher from an interfering Mr. Stone and launching him over the top rope into a crowd of security guards, Bron Breakker appeared to be poised for the victory over Baron Corbin in the opening match of No Mercy. The interference, however, distracted Breakker enough for him to walk right into an end of days from Corbin, who secured the victory. The feud between Breakker and Corbin reached its apex on this past week's episode of NXT, with the pair fighting through the parking lot, through a car door, onto the hood, the roof, into a bay door, and ultimately, after Breakker dodged a flying fire extinguisher from Corbin, through the wall of Shawn Michaels' office. And this match picked up right where the brawl left off, with Breakker hitting a huge tope con hilo before the bell even rang. After battling through the crowd, Corbin missed an attempted senton bomb on Breakker, poised on the announce table, temporarily knocking out the audio cord of the headsets of Vic Joseph and Booker T. Breakker narrowly avoided an end of days by flipping out of it and subsequently attempting a pin, but Baron Corbin thwarted that effort and made his way to back outside of the ring. Breakker, licking his chops, stormed around the ring towards Corbin looking for a spear, but the Lone Wolf sidestepped Breakker and tossed him through the announce table instead. Unleashing his inner dog, Breakker effectively no-sold the spot, sitting up quickly and spearing Corbin before re-entering the ring, where he was met by Stone, seeking vengeance of Breakker's destruction of his client Von Wagner just a few weeks back. But as quickly as Breakker caught and disposed of Stone, Corbin pounced on the opportunity, landing the end of days to pick up the victory. As I mentioned, some think maybe that Bron Breakker could be headed to the main roster. Others are suggesting that no, he still has to complete his feud with Von Wagner. Where do you think that one is going, and what do you think the future is for Bron Breakker in NXT moving forward? Now, we now have more details on the NXT Women's Breakout Tournament competitors. The 2023 NXT Women's Breakout Tournament is set to take place on next week's October 3rd episode of NXT. At last night's No Mercy event, the 8 competitors in the tournament were announced, featuring a mixture of names from the main NXT show, NXT Level Up, and new faces to television. The complete list of competitors is as follows: Kalani Jordan, Lola Vice, Carmen Petrovich, Izzy Dame, Jada Parker, Danny Palmer, Jakara Jackson, Ariana Grace. Ariana Grace was a competitor in last year's Breakout Tournament and recently returned from an injury with a new character after 11 months out on the shelf. Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, Jakara Jackson, and Danny Palmer have been featured regularly on the main NXT television show in recent weeks. Carmen Petrovich and Izzy Dame made their debuts on NXT Level Up, but have yet to debut on the main NXT show. Jada Parker has yet to make her television debut in the company either. Let's talk about NXT Halloween Havoc. We've got details on that, about when that's going to be taking place as well. The 2 dates for this year's NXT Halloween Havoc have been announced. At last night's No Mercy event, WWE announced the return of the NXT Halloween Havoc special, with it set to be a 2-week television special this year. The first week of Halloween Havoc will take place on the October 24 episode of NXT, and will continue on to the next week's episode on Halloween night, that being on October 31st. The next NXT Premium Live event is set to be the 2nd annual NXT Deadline, which is taking place on December 9. The show will feature the return of the Iron Survivor Challenge match, which made its debut at last year's inaugural version of the event. Last year's Halloween Havoc featured a 3-way NXT Championship main event between Bron Breakker, JD McDonough, and Ilya Dragunov. The show also featured Wes Lee winning a ladder match to win the North American Championship prior to his historic reign with the title. Now, we've seen recently a lot of main roster crossover with NXT. We've also seen the ratings go up for the Tuesday night show. Now, according to Fightful Select, WWE were extremely pleased with the recent trend of NXT ratings, and Fightful Select are reporting they spoke to a number of WWE sources who indicated to Fightful that there has been a recent increased importance put on the NXT viewership numbers on Tuesday nights. Fightful are told this is a big reason why Judgment Day, Becky Lynch, and others have started to regularly appear on NXT. WWE sources said the reason is very simple and financially motivated. WWE wants to increase their television viewership numbers on Tuesdays to better leverage a rights fee deal or package, showing potential suitors that slight adjustments can increase those ratings benefits that. This came ahead of WWE's announcement that SmackDown would be moving to the USA Network. Of particular note, WWE was ecstatic about the huge numbers, relatively speaking, that Becky Lynch versus Tiffany Stratton drew for their September 12 NXT title match. It was the largest number in almost 3 years, and the first time they peaked over 1 million viewers in even longer than that. So the point being is that they're doing this to ensure they get a good media rights package for NXT. It's been speculated that maybe NXT, along with Monday Night Raw, could be leaving USA Network, so having these stronger ratings gives WWE more leverage when they're in these negotiations. A match has been announced for Fastlane, a big 6-man tag team match. It has been revealed that the Latino World Order will face off against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits at the October 7 event. On the latest edition of the SmackDown Lowdown, Kayla Braxton informed Lashley that Rey Mysterio had issued a challenge for the 3-on-3 bout at Fastlane. Lashley accepted this challenge, with the new faction agreeing the match would be easy money. Now, it's currently unclear which 3 members of the LWO will be in the match, as the graphic showed all 4 current male wrestlers, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro. Even though he's not officially an LWO member yet, it's also possible, after what happened on Friday SmackDown, that NXT's Dragon Lee could be part of the team alongside Mysterio and Escobar as well. This all comes after Lashley, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins brutalized the LWO following the US title bout between Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar on Friday. Ford and Dawkins have been attempting to prove to Lashley they can pull the trigger following Lashley's previous ultimatum that if the Street Profits couldn't find their killer instincts, he'd find someone else who could. So this match has now been made official for Fastlane. Speaking of matches being made official for big events, this is one that came certainly a bit out of the blue. Josh Barnett is facing off against Claudio Castagnoli tonight at WrestleDream. Claudio Castagnoli has earned a spot at the AEW WrestleDream card, with the former Ring of Honor World Champion throwing down an open challenge to Josh Barnett for tonight's event in Seattle, Washington. After losing his championship just over a week ago against Eddie Kingston, he revealed on AEW Collision that the weight has been lifted from his shoulders, and he'll be looking to push forward against the former UFC heavyweight in Josh Barnett. Again, kind of coming somewhat out of the blue. As one of Antonio Inoki's prized pupils and a true crossover star in combat sports, Barnett has yet to appear in AEW, but has been used sporadically in New Japan Pro Wrestling over the years, as well as working on the independent scene for his own Bloodsport promotion. The 45-year-old will also have the home ground advantage at WrestleDream, with Barnett hailing from Seattle. He joins fellow Washington products Bryan Danielson, Swerve Strickland, and Darby Allin on the show too. So this match between Barnett and Castagnoli will be featured on the 0 Hour pre-show at the Climate Pledge Arena, joining a bout between Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne, as well as the Acclaimed and Daddy Ass facing off against TMDK2. It's not only the match that has been added as well, another mixed 4-on-4 match has been announced for WrestleDream 2. Again, kind of going somewhat out of the blue. All Elite Wrestling has announced that Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, Diamante, and Mercedes Martinez will team up to battle Satoshi Kojima, Keith Lee, Athena, and Billy Starks in a mixed 8-person tag match at WrestleDream as well. Once again, this match will be taking place on the 0 Hour pre-show. But there you go, guys. That's the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.